Fly, fly, fly. Scoochie, huh? I drink till I'm drunk.
Fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Pick, I might as well. Hell, drop the top and take a selfie.
You shopping at a goddamn number 2 pencil.
Hello?
Hey Rick, I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother?
I went down to Thomas' Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie, and I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh, all I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, L.J. Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.
For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Get everybody go outside. Here we go, everybody line up. Everybody outside. City Friday night, oh, going down again. Oh, you girl, yeah, until the rain. City Friday night, this Friday night, it's going down again.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the all-new TTown 411 Report. I'm your host, Jeremy McKinstry. We're broadcasting live from McKinstry Banquet Hall, located at 5480 Jug Factory Road here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's a special place for special people for all special occasions. We're also broadcasting live on Soundbooth Radio and Soundbooth TV. Mike, tell them how can they sound in on Soundbooth Radio and Soundbooth TV.
Sure thing, Daryl. Just go to your iOS or your Google Play Store, download the Live 365 app. Once you download that app, there you type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with us on the radio side of Sound Booth Radio. You can check us out on the TV side. Just go to your YouTube or your Facebook Live and type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1 or Sound Booth TV.
Well, Mike, each and every week we provide the audience with the COVID update, and as of let's see, as of 3:06 p.m. on March the 15th, 2022, and we want to thank Veronica Taylor for providing us with that. There's eight inpatients with DCA systems that are positive for COVID-19. 5 or fewer inpatients positive for COVID-19 being treated in ICU, and 5 or fewer inpatients positive for COVID-19 on ventilators. Of those in the hospital, it's been stated how many are fully vaccinated and unknown vaccinated or not fully vaccinated. That was strange because they have to fall into one category or the other, unless the patient would not say. So as of right now, we don't know how many is fully vaccinated and how many are not unvaccinated, but we just want to thank each and every week that Veronica provide us with this information. And we just always like to start off with a small prayer. If y'all would just join in. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your grace and mercy for letting us see another day, this day that we'll never see again. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for the doctors, the nurses, and all the essential workers that help make this COVID virus preventable. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for law enforcement. We want to thank you for our firemen, all our government officials. We're praying for them, Heavenly Father. We're praying for the people in Ukraine as of right now. Heavenly Father, right now we're praying for all the people who are going through something right now, regardless of what you're doing for. We're praying for the families that are going through bereavement right now, Heavenly Father. Those that are uplifted, we ask them that you uplift them and let them know that you're in charge, Heavenly Father. We're praying for the victim of these latest shootings right here in Tuscaloosa, Heavenly Father. We're praying for them and their families. Please go with them, Heavenly Father. Let them know that you're in charge. We're praying for all our listeners and all our viewers that's on this program. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Mike doing a little construction, man, over at the hall. Just couldn't get a chance to come on. You know, we're doing some new things over at the hall, so we're looking forward to it. Dr. McEwing, how are you? Thank you for joining in on the program. Thank you so much, Marcus McKinney, Wendell Davis, Patricia Williams, Veronica, as always, joined the conversation. Angela Wells Ward, and all of you all that are part of this program each and every week, each and every Tuesday and Thursday. Mike, of course, let me join you right here on the screen with me. Here we go. You ready? There you go. There go Mike on the screen with us for those that didn't know that Mike was on the program with us also. Mike, of course, latest update, latest information on Sunday here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, another capital murder situation. Another, not, and I'm using this word, another capital murder situation, because lately, that's
5 this year.
5 in 1 year. The word capital murder is rarely used, but Mike, when we are using the word capital murder, and I did a survey yesterday, and it was mighty strange. No one, I don't think I had no one commented on what way they prefer for someone getting life in prison or execution. And that's when we talk about capital murder, if convicted, those are the only two options from my understanding here in the state of Alabama. Those are the only two options.
Daryl, you were quite right. Not only did you, when you sent that out, I also shared it, and I shared it to a bunch of different people, in groups even, and I still didn't see any comments. So something that nobody else really want to talk about because I don't know. I think that everybody has their different opinions on it. And truthfully, mine personal on that whole entire situation is, especially when we're talking about 16 and 17, 18-year olds, I'm not exactly sure either one of them is the best punishment for both of them. It is studies showing that the human brain don't finish developing until they're in their mid 20s. and you basically taking away a life at 16, 17, 18 years of age. Now, there has to be some sort of punishment. I understand that for such a gruesome crime, but we got to, I don't know, there's got to be something else.
There's no other options when you're charged with capital murder. That's just plain outright what the answer is going to be. Uh, here's what I look at, and we'll talk more about the shooting in just a second. Those that like to join the conversation, you can call us. The phone lines are always open, 310-6067 or 826-7661. Here's when we see this type of crime happen in our community, you see comments, oh, it gotta stop. Oh man, that's so sad. Wake up, Tuscaloosa. What we gonna do? Mayor, please help us out. Oh, what we gonna do? If y'all know anything, all this all this bickering and crying and not stepping up to the game, we got to send a message, some shape, form, or fashion. Society, but I don't blame society because there's a lot of things that people can do to help solve crimes, and they don't. But at the same time, there's issues in the whole system. I'm gonna just say it that way. There's problems with the system that no one wants to address. Me and Veronica have said this on many occasions that the Constitution needs to be revamped, revitalized, re-looked into, rewritten, whatever, because those laws do not, at this point in time, really apply to the way we are living today. Those were wrote in 1776.
Absolutely, and then the ones that they are trying to pass now, are actually giving, the I don't know. It seems like it's reverting back to olden days. Alabama just passed it, and I think you posted this last week. It just passed the law where you no longer have to have a concealed carry permit.
Okay,
So now it's open season on having firearms.
Well, Mike, since you brought that up, I got a little slideshow that I do already have available for to talk about that. The pros and cons of the constitutional carry bill. Hello, Bridget. How you doing? Join the conversation with us tonight, Bridget Nelson. I see you. Join the conversation. I was going to post something about the pros and cons of the new constitutional carry bill, but here's a few things a lot of people were saying about it. About, okay, I agree with it because now I don't have to pay extra money to carry my weapon. Fine and dandy. But here's the thing. Did you know 32 states honor the Alabama concealed carry permit? You see what I'm saying on that? So if you go to Florida and you get pulled over and don't have your permit, then what? If you go to Mississippi, or matter of fact, I'm gonna go a little bit further. Did you know states that honor Alabama carry concealed permits are Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, uh, Montana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming, and all of them require that you be over the age of 21, except Indiana, Montana, and North Dakota. Now, a couple of those states also require that if you get pulled over, you must, especially in Louisiana, you must tell the law enforcement officer that you have a weapon on you immediately. Immediately. You must, matter of fact, if you get pulled over, you have to acknowledge to the officer, I have a weapon in the car and I have a permit or I don't have a permit. That's their law. And that falls in the other state. Also, did you know California, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York will not honor concealed carry permits from any other state. So you can go to California with a weapon, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts. You can get arrested even if you got a permit from Alabama or any other state. So you can get arrested there. One other thing I just want to add on: the Alabama Uniform Concealed Carry Permit Act was signed into law back in April 2021. But at the same time, under that bill, people will be able to purchase permits that last for a year, 5 years, or a lifetime. So here's the key: buy a lifetime permit, and especially if you're over the age of 60, you can get it for $150. But if you're under the age of 60, you can buy one for $300. Then you say, you got it. You don't have to worry about it no more. Now remember, that's a privilege. That is a privilege to have. It ain't you still subject to having your permit taken.
Mhm.
Let's see. Edna Smith said, "Good evening. You get more time for marijuana than murder. System constantly failing us. Condolences to the family and friends, and even family of ones who done it. It's not the weapon; it's who carries it most of the time." Hey, Leroy Rogers, how you doing? Edna, you are absolutely correct. Um, I, I don't disagree with the fact that we have the right to bear arms. Our Second Right Amendment. I don't have any problem with that. But at this point, and I say this and I say this again, if you're going to require me to have a license to drive my car, which is a privilege, just like owning a weapon is a privilege, and you're going to require me and mandate me to have insurance on each vehicle, then why won't you do the same thing for a gun? It's a privilege. It's a privilege, y'all. And some people will debate me on that. That hey, well, you only everybody don't drive a car. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't own a lot of guns. I find some people have 10, 12 guns. Why? What's the purpose of 10, 12? What's the purpose of 10 to 12 guns? But if you had insurance
What's the purpose of having 10 to 12 guns and you ain't never been put range to know how to shoot any of them?
When I was looking at the permit thing, some states, and I want to say it's Mississippi, require you to go through a gun class before you can even get.
I think every state in the union should make you go through some sort of gun safety, gun handling class.
Correct.
Because that's a firearm. That's something that can take a life very, very easy.
Very easy.
If you look at some people, they take their kids at a very young age to the gun range, and they know how to shoot. And that's handguns and rifles and shotguns. They take them to the gun range and teach them how to shoot that stuff. We don't usually go to gun ranges. Every once in a while, we might go in the woods somewhere and shoot a tree. But for most intent purposes, it's just like we got the guns, and if we shoot them, we just shooting at something. We don't necessarily know how to aim and hit what we're shooting at.
Well, just let's, and I'm praying for both families because each scenario. Dion just posted another drive-by in I guess Northport or Northgate. Oh my!
Tonight?
That's what he just posted. Another drive-by in Northgate. I don't know if that's Northgate in Northport. Call us, Dion, and give us more information, man. It's just disgusting, y'all. And y'all don't want to do anything to punish people. No one has an opinion about what can control more of this. There's a lot of things we can do to control this. A lot of things, and we keep calling it nonsense. What we call it? Senseless killings. We do.
The incident that happened Sunday. was a young man that was killed, and then there was a baby that was killed. This is the stuff that's getting to be tired. The most tiresome to me is that child was not old enough to have done anything to anybody. Uh, just beginning to live actually, and now his life is snuffed out. Now I don't know what the beef was. I really truly don't. Uh, I was sitting talking to a couple of other friends, and it was a time where if you had a disagreement with somebody, you allowed to throw some fists with them. And then 2 weeks later, y'all was cool again. Y'all playing ball on court somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays, we have a disagreement, and you might not make it till next week.
I don't see anything on my line, but that don't necessarily mean it ain't happening because you know how it is. Um, Patricia say who voted on this no permit deal? It was passed in our legislative. Patricia, this is something that our legislators that we elected in Montgomery, that our Governor Ivy, she signed into law. So she could have vetoed it, yeah. But I didn't think it was going to get
She
vetoed.
didn't want to, and it was interesting because most of law enforcement, from what I understand, opposed.
Right. They pledged.
Opposed.
Let's see. I'm getting this information. Check on. Okay. So somebody posted it. Check on your folks. Another drive-by in Northgate, man down. Now I'm gonna go see. Can I pull this person's name up and see do we have anything for sure?
Northgate, in Northport, behind Piggly.
I'm assuming. I'm only assuming. Let me check. Veronica on the line with us. Veronica, how you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Hey,
Hey Mike. Hey there. I hope everybody's doing good. There, I saw the question and I just kind of waited to see because I don't know. I think some people may have felt uncomfortable answering the question because they didn't want other people to see who said what. Because one of the first things that people say is pray for both families,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's correct. We should pray for both families, but you know, there was someone that was a perpetrator.
Right.
So though we pray for their families, sometimes it seems like people don't want to hold people accountable because the first thing you hear is free so and so, and a lot of times you know that they did it.
Yes.
And so other people don't want to get into that confrontation or that back and forth. I've seen a couple of back and forths, and not just here locally, like in Atlanta, this incident happened, and they were back and forth, and they was the person who was supposed to be the perpetrator or the criminal. They were going hard for him. I mean, literally insulting the victim's family members. And I'm like, how do you think somebody's family member is supposed to feel? Even though that's your loved one, you love them to the fullest extent or whatever. That's understandable. But they committed a crime, and when they kill someone, do you expect for everybody to only say pray for both sides?
Hmm.
Like, did they go into all this about, well, you don't know the details, you don't know this? Okay, somebody killed somebody, we do know that.
Yes.
And we don't know if that person who was killed would have done the same. We don't know that. They may have been into it. So nobody's even at this point talking about the fact that they were into it. We want to know the motive, to piece things together. And to maybe, sometimes it was a fear or whatever it may have been. But when you're doing stuff like a drive-by, you know what I'm saying? It's like people are afraid to kind of say things, almost like when people are afraid to tell stuff, because you get attacked on social media for saying they should be held accountable. And I honestly think that's why that post didn't get a lot of responses.
Well, let me say this, and I don't even talk about it. I have a relative that actually was a victim of one of these capital murders, and I know the father of one of the perpetrators in that murder. I can still treat that person, the father, like a person without hatred because we both know it was not right. Even the father said it's not right. I said it was not right. The mother of this victim is suffering of this. But at the same time, it's happening. It continue to happen. Will continue to happen. Let me read some of the comments right quick. Edna Smith said, like you said earlier, it's so sad. What we gonna do? But we need to build more prisons instead of hotels and apartments and make them suffer the consequences. Cowards carrying guns instead of fist fighting and back to normal. I don't condone any type of violence, but I will protect mine. Bridget Nelson said, it's so many young people hurting. They're angry and just no guidance. Children raising themselves. City leaders and churches need to have a forum to see what can be done in the city. Latay Robinson, how you doing, sir? I hadn't heard from you in a while.
How everybody doing?
Good,
But
good. Go ahead.
yeah, quit playing the game. Quit playing the game with these people. Quit playing the game with these people.
Go ahead, Tim.
All they want to do is what's going on. Why they study, want to jump on here and be heard and seen. Another drive-by just happened. You got another man down right now from another drive-by that just happened. And I ain't even in Tuscaloosa or Alabama. But how do I already know this? Because you got to really be on the ground. You got to really be involved. It's just something for people to talk about, man. And I just really called in to just say, did we just do this?
Oh,
And then again, a little while ago, and then another little while ago, and then another, it's the same thing. What did I tell you how bad it was going to start to get? Hey, man, them boys did a drive-by in the middle of the day. They were not shooting 9 millimeters. They were not shooting 22s. They were shooting AK-47 rifles.
Yes, sir.
It ain't enough blood yet, though, y'all. It ain't done yet. It ain't enough. The people still don't care. Because if they cared, they would have filled them goddamn streets the next day after that 2-year-old baby was dead. They would have been at City Hall demanding something. But it's the same old thing that we continue to go through. We just said the same thing about the 13-year-old baby, then the other 13-year-old baby, then the 16-year-old girl, then the other 16-year. I mean, it's just gonna keep going. Ain't no respect. Ain't no respect for Negroes in Tuscaloosa. Let's be for real. Ain't no respect for no Negro on the west side of Tuscaloosa. What they voice it? What they voice? The white people had to come out and say, hey man, y'all drew these lines. This is illegal. Not only is this illegal, this is racist. You've had white people that stand up there and call their plan and the leadership racist. But the blacks ain't jumped up there yet. But if the baby's dying, then they have the audacity to let him go show his face on a scene just for a photo op. Talking about the bail system. Well, you can't make a person guilty until they've been to court. Seems to me like you want to run a dictatorship. But if you did what was supposed to be done, them bullets would be flying back and forth. And the thing about this one too, down. Come on, man, too many people was involved. What I mean by that, this one of them situations that it ain't gonna never be no peace. With a few of them families involved, it ain't gonna never be peace. It's getting worse and worse, Daryl. I told y'all, some boys, they demons when they doing what they do because they be on those prescription drugs. That's the reason they don't know nothing. When you see them coming out that police state, they sheriff, the homicide the next night or day in them handcuffs, that's the reason they look like regular little kids or regular little men. Like, what in the hell done happened to them? Because they don't know what the hell happened or what they done did after them highs start to come down. A lot of this shit relates with fentanyl for real. Fentanyl don't just kill you. The addiction get worse. Y'all ain't gonna never know they're addicted because y'all don't pay enough attention to them to know that they're addicted. Don't you see what they're doing every day? They look like vampires in the street. They don't pay enough attention to them to know they're addicted. Our kids addicted just like the whites was addicted when they was putting up $100,000 billboards for them. Opening Bradford and the place up in West End, but I always don't get nowhere but that county jail and that mobile. That's the only place our boys get.
Tim,
like I said, when they like to call in and tell them make sure they go check on the shooting tonight. I don't know if the person dead, but they said they got a man down and it was a drive-by again. So y'all welcome to the new age of Tuscaloosa.
Hey, Dad, we have another person on the line also.
Go ahead, Carl.
All of this violence wouldn't be going on if they would let us do our children the way we want to do. I'm 61 years old. I got whooped with belts and sticks or whatever. I'm not dead.
Yes, ma'am.
If you allow us to control our kids the way we want to control them, then it'll be a different Tuscaloosa, a different world. The Bible, say, you must discipline a child. But they take that away from us. First time they have a scar on them, DHR call. And these kids are smart enough these days. No, if you put your hands on them to try to discipline, they're going to call DHR. Then the white folks going to get involved. We going to jail. So that's why all these children going astray. Because we can't discipline our own child without getting arrested or whatever.
Well, myself, I really don't think whooping will work because I'm 48, but when I was growing up,
my mother put her feet on my head and whooped my behind. I'm not out killing, stealing, or robbing, or whatever.
Well, as far as
it must start at home.
As far as boys who are growing up in the
your
streets,
child at home.
that'll punish me any day. I'd rather take a 5-10 minute beating that'll punish me any day. That's just how we thought growing up. Yeah, I'm gonna go on and do this because when I get home, I know I'm probably gonna get hold up for about 10 minutes, but after them 10 minutes, it's over with. So I'm gonna go on and do it. So
baby, I'm old school. My mama put her feet on our head, and we got whoopings, and we are better children. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just wondering how long are the citizens gonna allow that city to turn into a war zone? Now it's been stressed by y'all leadership that y'all continue to vote every murder that's a black murder. You continue to stress that the state is not
the police not beating us. The police beating us. They ain't going to jail. How come they ain't they killing people? What about the killing that lost Tabasco? They ain't even gave the man an answer. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff going on.
And that's what I'm saying.
And number one, first, who voted in for a mayor?
There you go. Well, all I know is it's a problem that
we as black citizens need to get together and vote someone in worth having a job.
That's right. I agree with you.
And we got a city councilman, honey. They talking about the guys out here doing dope and stuff like that. Look at his past. Now tell me, look at his past. But that's one of our leaders. Well, I'm through with it. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Well, like I said, man, it's the same problem, same thing going on. I guess it's just going to get to the point that enough people are going to be sick and tired of, because
I'm trying to find it, Tim. You know any particular person name that I can look up? I'm trying to.
It would not, and I say it again, and I hope people get named. I say it again. This would not be tolerated, no shape, form, or fashion across the water. It would not be tolerated in neither one of their neighborhoods. If this many killings, murders had happened, drive-bys, little kids and babies, Walter Maddox would be out of that office tonight if this was in their community. The disrespect he showed, and the people do not care. The only thing he could say was, they've been arrested before. Well, if there was a problem in school, then that means they was in the hands of the city school system first, and they knew there was a problem. If they went to the juvenile facility, then that means the state had them, the city had them. So at what point are we gonna blame the ones that got control of them when the parents couldn't control them? Because it's starting to look like not just a school, it's starting to look like a street to prison pipeline in Tuscaloosa. I'm trying to understand why ain't no black city councilman stood up and demanded nothing yet. Not one. I don't, and I know they listening. Hit me. We on live right now. We on live right now. I'm talking to all of them, any of them. It don't even matter. They ain't even spoke up yet. It don't matter about you going to the scene with them folks being with what happened, but when you gonna stand up? When are y'all gonna grow some balls? Period. When? When? Don't make excuses talking about, well, ain't nothing the city can do a lot. What I just really found out, and I already knew this was, well, they ain't got no power without the city council. If the city council vote whatever they want to vote, Walt has no power. But then that's why they just created the new.
That's why it was so important for them to realize why we need to fight for those districts like we did. And then we had one of us to not even just stand. We would still be outvoted, but couldn't even stand with us. So they can't even stand with you.
But the thing now is, like I just said earlier today, and guess what? God teach lessons through everything. See, now, it ain't gonna be just no black power, just like it ain't never just being black power to do it on its own. Hey man, you got to have other sources. You got to start uniting. Now I understand. You got to unite with the white people that's mad. The white people that's tired. See, they ain't got to agree with everything we talking about, but they want a better city. They know if it ain't good over there with y'all, it ain't gonna be good over there with them because it's only gonna happen so long. The shooting in the mall is getting loose, it's getting worse, it's getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. Right now ain't nobody really being affected but the black community. But the other people know it's coming and something has to be done. So again, if y'all want to wait, y'all can wait. It's gonna come down, no doubt. But if y'all want to just wait and let it keep on ticking and keep on ticking, just pray it's not one of your family members caught up in it. Because as you see, these are innocent babies. These are innocent people dying from these bullets. These bullets are not hitting a target, it's hitting innocent people.
That is true. Hey, I got Cassius in there on
Let's go.
So yeah, man, I just wanted to call because first of all, it saddens me about everything that happened, and but I just want to address what Tim said because he said ain't no black city councilman who stood up demanding that. First of all, Tim ain't hear me. First of all, you ain't there to know what we demand. But let me just speak for me, because me and you talk all the time, so I ain't about to heat with you on here. You know what time it is with me. You know what time it is with me. I come from the same place you come from. I did the same things you did, and I hate the same thing you do. But this ain't an attack against you or nobody else, but look, I'm gonna address that, because see, everybody always throw the city council or the police up, or the north of the river. And guess what? I live over here in District 7. But my thing is, we throw that up, but we don't, but when we gonna take some responsibility for ourselves? See,
what type of responsibility?
Here's the problem, Tim. Ain't nobody over there doing no drive-bys in north of the river. See,
of course not.
Here's the problem. Listen, I ain't coming to knock you off your whatever you're doing right now.
Let's build in front of the people. Let's let the people learn something.
So what I'm saying, and you know this, Tim, and I know this, and you know the climate change, and I do too. But I know for a fact, if this was happening, and people can't say you compare, in our day, we'll do something about that. But guess what? We got people with the flunker. We got people with the mojo. We got people with the molly and all these other drugs that people on that we never seen before when we moved out here. It's another generation. It ain't our parents out here raising these new generations. The respect level is different. We used to ride by the churches and then we turn our music down. We got subs all in there, but we turn our music down when we pass the church. I'm talking about on purpose. See, so we gotta start acting like things still the same. But I know we did some things, but what I'm telling you, it was a certain level of respect. But what I'm telling you, ain't nobody, and I'm saying this to the general audience, there is nobody white, there is nobody north of the river doing drive-by. The problem is in our neighborhoods. The problem is in our community. And see, we got to start, we got to gather together ourselves and try to figure out what can we do as a people. I'm talking about from the parents to the politicians to the preachers to the gang members to the ex-gang members. We can't exclude nobody. But what we can't do is instill in somebody who's already trained, you know what I mean, to do something that their mindset to. But what we need to do, we need to be more proactive. All we do is we have these candlelight visuals that we have a meeting after every incident happens. And then there's no performance and no action. But and I ain't gonna even say that because people do try. But what happens when you bring the kids to one of our camps? Because you bring the kids to one of these programs, which the program we have ain't sufficient right now. It's gonna take more money than that. It's gonna take a 24-hour bill. Don't give us no crumbs and talking about this is what we can do to save our people. Because it ain't gonna do that. People say it don't take money, it is gonna take money. It's gonna take staffing, it's gonna take food, it's gonna take security, it's gonna take technology, all that. So it's gonna take money, but it's gonna take a unified front within our community to decide this is what we're gonna do, and we got to still be comfortable that no matter how many people we bring in, we still gonna lose some.
But this what I don't understand. But this what I don't understand, Cassie. And maybe you haven't been in there long enough to know this part.
Right.
Why is it when it comes to our community, it's always the community? Hey man, it's tax dollars down there. It's tax dollars down there. Why is it our community? Why is it? Why Raven is over? Raven Howard is over. She's over public safety, right?
That's right.
I mean, so why do we always gotta pull ourselves up by our bootstraps? Why we always gotta pull it? Hey, our community ain't gonna do nothing. You can't say it. You are a representative. You can't say it. Dara can't say it. Our community ain't gonna do nothing. The majority of our community ain't gonna do nothing but talk. And they ain't gonna do nothing. We can't depend on them to raise no money, and half of we can't depend on to raise money because they struggling trying to live themselves. That's why I refuse to go that way. I cannot put nothing on a parent that don't even know how to be a parent because the Tuscaloosa City school system or whoever else did not raise them correctly. I can't put that on. We're gonna forever be looking for a savior unless we have to jump out. But you just said the most important thing. I know hundreds of people that ready to work, but why, when it comes to our people, why is it always a stop on the money? Why is it always we can do it as a community, but we can spend 40 and 50 million on parks? And it ain't gonna get done. It's not one city councilman that's gonna go to work every day for free. It's not one police that's gonna go to work every day for free. It's not one person out there, period, that's gonna go to work every day for free. See, we know you can't get it done by yourself. Just like we know Matthew and one and two and one, they can't get it. We know the whole game. Right. But the people, like you said, the people got to do something, bro. Yeah. Like you said, it takes money.
It's a joint effort. It's a joint effort. Like I said, even when you had programs down here when you was in town. I mean, you had programs. You had success in your program. I had success in program. But guess what? We were still losing people. The ultimate goal is, but my problem is, first of all, before we get to the money, we got to charge our community. It's a charge we got to take as a black community to say, hey, and then here's the other part. Hey, I can't blame the ones who nervous and scared.
Me neither.
Some of them scared to go pump that gas because it ain't safe. Everybody trying to make it home. It used to be a point we can go to the mall. You know, we used to hit the mall every Friday and Saturday. Hang out. We gonna go eat the food court. I can admit, and I know you can't. I ain't never put a gun in the mall. What I need a gun in the mall for, man?
But we just got to understand it's in a different time.
It's a different time, but it's more dangerous. So
exactly.
They at war over in Ukraine right now, but we at war over here. But the whole problem is it's in our neighborhoods, it's in our community, and it makes me sick.
And we got to stop. The people got to stop turning on each other. Again, you got to look at, hey man, these boys got army guns.
Yeah.
They got army guns. So how did they get? Why were they allowed to get here? See, that's what I'm saying. We got to do it more than once it didn't happen. Now we got it. No, it's too late.
And then Kay Allen ain't helping it. Now look what she's doing. She said everybody can get a gun, but now you don't have to have that. But that ain't gonna work. You got no have no permit. You can stop that. Now because you don't have blood again because you can't. And
again, it's the same thing. It's the same game that keep it being ran. Even when we talk about, because one thing we do know is we not finna get a legal gun to go do nothing illegal. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Let me say something. Let me say something. Councilman, and Tim.
What sense do that even make? Like, I mean, crimes are not committed with illegal guns. People don't go in the store to purchase a gun to do a drive-by or do wrong. Like, what sense do that stuff be making?
Tim.
I mean, I understand the fight, and I feel the fight. But
I just want to let you know, bro. Sometimes it's frustrating because
can you hear me, Mike?
There.
Yeah. Let me come to one question. It's why I got Tim and yourself both here. Okay. The root to the solution is what I'm saying, and I hear what Tim's saying because I think you know it too.
Yeah.
Let's rewind back to the beginning of the problem, and let's start where Tim is correct. We see problematic children in the schools early. That's why they put them in alternative school.
Right.
If y'all look back over the history of alternative school students, there's a high percentage of that population is either prison or dead.
Over 70% of black males.
Okay.
81% of the black males.
Okay.
Hold
on, Mike. I don't want to lose track of what I'm trying to say. The solution, Tim, you're correct. The school need to address that situation early on. Cassius, you're correct. The drugs back then was just marijuana and crack. And I said this years ago. If we, as our children, ever start doing methamphetamine, meth, cocaine, alcohol, and marijuana all together, our society is gonna go to hell. I'm gonna just put it that way. So that's a problem. But we don't see billboards. You remember we had a problem with the crack cocaine instances in the 80s.
Yeah.
Y'all call it Molly, ecstasy, whatever you want to call it. All I know is the mixture of all these drugs is in these boys' system. And it got to be addressed from that point too.
Yeah, you're right, McKinstry. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. That's why I've been mentioning and talking about we need a top of the line drug rehabilitation center.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I've been asked, and I'm fighting for this because we are in the home of the national football champ. Well, we got all this money circulating.
That's right.
We got 3 different colleges here, and you know people getting high. You got the weed, you got the opioid addiction, you got the mojo, you got different things like that. But see, and all we got is the Phoenix House And then I'm not taking anything from Indian River Club because they serve the mental illness, the group with mental disabilities, but they also have certain parts of a drug program, but it's not equipped like they had Red Eagle down or they had up in Birmingham. Bradford, the Bradford Center, but we should have a top of the line facility that don't worry about that the government don't worry about whether you from north of the river or McKinsey Coast. And so with a wake facility, an educational branch, a mental health branch, because I see what we do. You said until for the test, they go to jail. You have to program yourself. They got a little stuff like this, but you got to go program yourself. But you got to have all these things. Once you get off the drugs, you need to have a calculator on. Hey, to trust the thing that made you get on the drug. And see, then anger management class. See, all these things that'll allow you to think 10 seconds. Me and Free talking about that on about how we learn how anger management class helped us in the joint. Yeah. We don't have to take 10 seconds before we act. But see, they don't have no access to that. To me, anger management should be in the curriculum in school now because you know what you're dealing with. Absolutely. That's right. I can't sit up in every school right now. We could have a to-go snack box in every school right now. See, we could reappropriate some of these funds to go back to some of these schools and then to a real program like the facility we talking about with a drug rehabilitation center, even a facility Tim was speaking of one time before. And I ain't gonna give you his whole plan, but he laid something. Man, this would be a 24-hour thing that will house kids, somebody homeless, somebody can't do that. I can't give you all of it because I don't want nobody to come act like they can grab it. But see, these are the programs that's needed. They talking, we don't know what to do. Hell, drop the money, take a chance on us. Let's find out what to do. But it ain't gonna help. And see, I ain't with the bite my tongue. I'm sick of it because when you see it, you know, man, listen, I'm not the one, and this don't pay me a quarter. I donate more money than I make at the city council. But the little money, I don't even know when it hit my check. I've been engaged more than that out for the whole, you know what I mean? I'm just being honest with y'all. So I don't care who's logging on and listen to this. But what I really want to know, it's not just on us in our community. Our community got a big part in it because we got to let them know we serious and we do want something. And we got to tighten our belt strap up at the house. But we still got to have, as a city, as a municipality, as leaders, we still gonna have to implement something in a budget that's gonna allow us a certain program that caters to our kids because they need mental health, they need clothes, they need food, they need rehabilitation, and they need some. I'm telling you, and you need some form of protection. I got it. I don't care if it's self-defense, something to get your mind off of it. We can have a rap studio in there, a boxing ring, all kind of see all these things to get you out the street for a second, and you don't know you've been to miss that bullet that made for you. With the real TPD and real security that's gonna be there, make sure no net coming out of harm. A safe zone where you come in and you can squash beat here. All these things we need. But it's gonna take that. It's gonna take some drastic measures to do this. We got a 2-year-old boy that's been shot in the back of his head, dead. For no doggone reason. At 25, everybody talking about 2-year-old. That 25-year-old had a life too.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm sorry that I didn't even bring it up, and you are right.
And I'm not talking about you, Tim. I'm just saying everybody.
Right, I know.
You see the comments how they were like, oh, they killed a baby. No, they killed another. They killed somebody's son too. Somebody nephew. That man dead. And the boys who did it, you know what I'm saying? They were lost.
Yeah, they lost, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Hey, man. That's what I'm saying. These boys doing these crimes.
It's so messed up. You know, it's just so messed up.
So this is one thing we do know. This is why, like I said, and I don't be trying to be funny, but and this is no disrespect to the older generation. The older black leaders down there, please get out the way.
Right.
That's why I'm 48, you 40. That's why we still well, other people wouldn't see us as old. Thank God we got here.
Yeah,
but that's the reason we so late coming in trying to get right, and because we offended by how our community looking and trying to help, but we still got problems trying to get into to leave just to help to leave because we got some older ones trying to continue to hold on when they don't even know the way no more and they blocking the door. We got a lot of that going on. It got to open up, man. It's time for new minds, man. It's time for new minds because it's a new game.
Yeah, it is.
We know them, hey man, we know them kids. These are kids that we know.
Absolutely.
They just like us, man. Come on, we know what happened. Yeah. Well, like I said, they on some different type of drugs. When we were, we knew what happened. The right music got in the deck, Cash.
You know that.
Let the right music get in the deck. Let the club. Let the right club come on.
You right about that. We went bananas.
Let the right club come on at the Citizen Club.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
we understand it. There you go. Get out the way, man. Y'all, hey, listen, hey, Cash. Friendship, that whole side of friendship that ain't being used with that opposite, man can do amazing things in West End. These people need to get out the way. That's the problem.
And then trust somebody who don't look like you. Trust somebody who might be well side. Who trust somebody who might be tatted up. But guess what? Them jokers gonna go to him and identify with him because of us. Say us. Because we know the way.
Right. Old men for counsel, young men for war. That's what it was supposed to be, but we didn't have no counsel, so we was at war with each other. Just like now.
Man, you said that.
Just like now.
You're right. You're right. I agree with you 100%.
And so that's all I'm saying, man. Like, hey, man, people know it's a, no, it ain't, no, whooping don't. Like I said, man, like I was telling Miss Lady that was on the line in, hey, man, in our days, you talking about a whooping. Hey, mama, in my mind, I'm saying, yeah, I can only get this little 5-10 minute whooping or whatever you talking about. I get this, cause that means I'm back. I'm going, this all gonna happen. Let this
Ain't no punishment. I get that whooping.
Let's get the whooping. It ain't no different fighting in the street. Let's get the whooping. And while we back at it again. So, I mean, but like I say, it's other mind, it's new minds, and then and the other thing I say this, I don't have no problem with. Like when they talk about our past, you know what I'm talking about. When they talk about what we did, they talk about all that, and I've always said I love the fact that because I just accept everything you say about me, good or bad. If that don't put me closer to the people that I'm trying to help, then say it about it. Let's go then. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go. But some gotta be did, bro. Some gotta be did, and we still, and
we build. I just want to reach out because I want to.
Some gotta be did.
And do it. Then I want to reach out. I appreciate Daryl for opening this subject. It's been so touchy. I wanted to say something a couple times, but I said, why would I do something like Daryl got something going here too? But I want to let you know whatever somebody got going. And I'm gonna tell you something. Feed me the information. Feed me what I need to even take to the city and say, hey, we need to put this in the budget. Because and listen, this live on Facebook. Anybody need to listen, they here. I ain't biting my tongue because this is a need, man, and we need to do something drastic to save our kids. And whoever got a problem with one thing about it, I'm there. I'm sitting there. And I'm willing to do it. So just holler at me. Anybody got some information they want to help feed me, and I know I'll be ready to let me know. We gonna go forward. You still gonna be available for Thursday for the exclusive interview? Yeah, I will be. I just wanted to come on here because I seen the subject and then I got to live, but I want to let them know because a lot of times, Tim, like I had addressed, a lot of times,
You saw the Batman thing.
You know what I'm saying? Because
you saw the Batman thing.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Man, I appreciate you, bro. Hey, Cash, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Hey, man, again, I got to go to y'all, but I'm just saying, y'all got to push for something because they done went to drive-bys in the middle of the day, man.
You're right. You're right, and we're gonna look into it. Man, it's Tim, and I said this before on this show and before. You have been correct, and it takes a person that know from the street point of view, not from the book point of view, but from the street point of view. You're absolutely right, man. And if you hadn't seen it or been there, and I tell people all the time, it's just some things y'all just don't know.
See, now listen.
It's just that
See, when
way.
you hear about them other cities, when you hear about LA, what people ain't understanding is you ain't just hearing about it ain't just LA.
Mm-hmm.
You hearing about the cities in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Like the city I used to gang bang in Linwood, and that's next to Compton. What people ain't understand, these are small cities like Tuscaloosa, Compton, a little bit more people, but the size. Linwood, California. But these are cities that have 3-4 murders a day. These are cities that drive-bys and things of this nature is an everyday thing. Everybody knows the people that live in the community in the nighttime, and this is what I've been trying to tell them. This is what was coming to Tuscaloosa. It's coming. This is what I'm trying to tell them. A city that size with that University of Alabama is going to rock this city. It's going to rock it. That's all I was trying to say. Stop it before it comes.
I read comments when the mayor posted about his comment, and it was a gentleman said he didn't think it was somewhere worse than Foley, Alabama. So comparing us to a small city like Foley, Alabama, and that type crime going on, I just can't understand. I just can't understand it, man. It's. But anyway, there are solutions with the people, and Bridget, you're absolutely right. I don't. When we have forums, people put a time limit on it because we don't want to hear a logical answer sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have a problem with the forums. Oh, you can only ask a certain amount of questions. We're only going to be here a certain amount of time. When they wrote the Constitution of the United States, hell, it wasn't overnight. It wasn't a matter of minutes, and it wasn't a matter of hours. It took some time. And that's what I'm saying. If we could put some time into solutions, we might can get somewhere. But once we walk out that door, like Dion said, we talked about doing something that will probably be productive. But once they hit the door, the whole idea went away.
Nobody seems to want to put forth that time and effort that's going to require. It's not going to be like we don't go out there and just do it. It's going to be some resistance behind it, and when you get resistance, most folks tend to crumble. So
I mean, then a lot of people don't understand. Like, I have a real 501c3 nonprofit organization. I'm not talking about no markers in the street. We don't do that. We are a real corporation. You understand what I'm talking about? We have to hire real employees. Real employees. And real employees have to make a real salary. That's all I'm saying. And basically when again they really don't understand how they make people feel.
I made this point. I made this point for you, and I agree with you. If we're gonna pay Pride all this money, these other 501cs, why not give you an opportunity to? No one gonna bite on that fish, so we moved on. And it's the truth.
And like I tell people, we ain't got to make it just about me. You understand? But we talking about something for real, something not your buddies, not nobody you put in place, not nobody that come and jump out because they see money there. No, it's a serious problem.
It's a problem.
And you keep talking about the bail system and locking them up. Man, that stuff just get to sound a little suspicious to me. That's all I'm saying, because I still got letters from him years ago, in 15 and in 10 and in that. I got a letter where that was always your response. So that just be sounding suspicious to me, man. Like, you think the only comments you ever have for crime in the black community or violence in the black community is lock them up. But yet you sending down the $2 million a year to that detention center, but nowhere near that to preventative programs. And I'm just saying that just sounds suspicious to me. That's all I'm saying. That just sounds suspicious.
Thank you for calling in, Tim. We're going to give somebody else an opportunity to join this conversation.
Take care, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Once again, anyone else want to call in, the phone lines are open, 310-6067 or 826-7661 to get you in contact with us here on the program.
Rob, you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm listening to what both of them said.
Yeah.
And what the point that Tim made that I completely agree with and couldn't say anything about is why do we always put it on ourselves? We already know what we have to do. So I agree with him. Why do we always have to be the one though, the ones who don't really have to pull ourselves up by the money straps? The same way they say pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. And back to the redistricting, all of that kind of stuff determines who they don't might not want to hear this, but it determines who has the power. Because when we see who has the power, we see where the money allocations go. We've been asking for weeks about other money, about the YMCA. We've been asking about weeks about other money for the Hughes Center. So how about the things that Cassius talked about? How are we going to get these other drug rehabilitation programs, anger management programs, when we can't even get a simple damn YMCA and done the correct way? We can't get the simple Hughes Center to get the add-ons that were promised to it. So what both of them said is the exact same thing. And some people gotta get this personal stuff out of it. Don't matter how you feel about a council person. When that council person is there and they fighting to do what's right, that's all we can ask for our that look like us, that we can depend on, I believe, to fight for what's right. And it's not just because of the redistricting. They have been honest and said that they are learning as they go. They see the things that are needed. They can't always come out and tell us what's going on with discussion behind closed doors. But this is the reason, like Tim said, stuff starts to look suspicious. Why are you so afraid of losing a one vote power? Why is a one vote power vote so important to you, but you expected it not to be important to us?
Well, here's what's important. Because if you had 4 African Americans that look like us on that city council and seem and agree with the issues that our community is facing, then the vote will probably change that we won't be putting $55 million into a park. We'll be putting some money into the people. And that's where the problem, that's where the issues are beginning. We see.
So that's why things start to look suspicious. Yes. We see who has the power or the control that they act like we were wrong for wanting to have. We see who has it, and we see where the allocation of money goes. But if we had the power and the money went to where it should go to help our people some, then there'd be an issue. You know how that race affirmative act, that reverse affirmative action thing goes, they get so upset about that.
Right.
So now people see that's why they're afraid of losing power. They don't want to say it, but that's what it is. They'll say everything, they'll get as rude as all get out, black power, make all these kind of statements. But why are you so afraid of losing your white power? And then why do things start to look like a dictatorship?
We got Lisa Young on the line.
Go ahead.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Lisa.
Good. How you doing?
I'm just wondering why we have the funds. When you look at the money that the city take in, if you go in the municipal court, who you see sitting in there? You see majority of black people. Yeah. So we're not asking the city to give us anything. The YMCA, the minimum bond grant YMCA should have been built. Now they're talking about moving it. To me, that just further displaces the black community. Why wouldn't you just pay the money that had built it right where it is? The city on all that property now. So there's no reason to move it. When we were young, when we wanted to hang out, we hung out in the Y. I hung out in that YMCA.
That was the first game.
Shoot, that was the first game. They having a problem with they saying that Y was grandfathered in, and to rebuild it, it's not going to be enough parking. That's the excuse.
They can go up. They can go up. The university did. They put the parking underneath the building and went straight up.
How much parking do they actually think we need? That's what I'm saying. For it ain't gonna be enough parking at the back down in Houston if you put it in the parking lot.
If you create, but then it's like Tim said, y'all. Things start to look suspicious, and then you got people who just gonna call a thing a thing. He calls a thing a thing. So when it's time to allocate money for maybe his nonprofit, they don't want to sway that way. See, some people don't like being called out. They want things to appear the way they want them to appear to be helping you. But then when you buck, it's stay in your lane. When you buck, it's not enough money.
Well, I just don't like the way when you go to the city council and you asking that they be fair. How a lot of them start posturing and get all up in arms, and I'm like, they act as if we're asking for something that's unreasonable. They act as if we're offending them. They act as if we come in with a certain level of hostility. Nobody has never went to the city council that I've been with that was hostile. There was nobody that was rude, but the way they respond was just always so.
But they respond in a hostile way.
It was in a hostile way, and for none of the council people to address what John Thale did was just absolutely disrespectful. They should have checked him. He one of them, right? If he's sitting there, he told a lie what he did. Nobody said that to him. And then he goes and says, if y'all want to talk about redistricting, y'all meet me at the Jacks. You know, why would you hold city business at the Jacks? If he wanted to take it seriously, he would call a community meeting. He would set aside his time, not Saturday morning at the Jacks. You know, it's just like they want you to come and keep begging and keep begging and keep begging, and I'm through asking. I'm through asking. You know, the money that we're requesting to be appropriated for the YMCA, anything that we go and ask is what's due. It's what's due us. It's ours. We're the community. Those are our tax dollars. That money is generated through fines. You know, that's our money. I remember when we were talking about redistricting, Walt wanted to recount because so many students weren't even there in Tuscaloosa because of COVID. So he knows that money is appropriate. Federal funds are appropriated based on your population. So that's still taxpayer money.
And we never see them begging for money in their districts. We never see them begging.
Never.
We never see them beg for it. It's gotten half the time quietly, and if it's not quietly, it's just if it's out there on Front Street, there's no qualms. They get it. They never beg for it, and that's why I so agree. That's why I was just quiet listening to Tim. We don't. Why should we have to beg for it? Yes, we should do all we can do to help each other. But like he said, and like Cassie said, half these parents can't even afford for the things that we're talking about doing. People trying to make it. The rent in the United States, the rent in this town that has nothing but Alabama football for about 5 months out of the year. And y'all know how I feel about that football. That's all we have to offer and a bolero, and you got rent for 3 bedrooms for $1,200 to $1,500, and now with this market increase across the United States, $1,600 in Tuscaloosa. $800 is too much for a 3 bedroom.
For a whole house, not for a whole house. You know, you got people paying $1,200 to share
a room. For a room, right?
Exactly. Talking about affording a house and nobody says anything.
It's like
exactly
18 to 24.
No, I ain't seen that. I don't know, but I know what we studied, what we've been studying, and what we've been talking about. What Lisa is trying to get people to more involved in purchasing their own home. They have to, but then sometimes people can't do that. But fortunately, we have ways to show and educate you on how to do that. But right now, in this current time, in Tuscaloosa, through Zillow, all these other organizations we looked through this past week, the rent on a 3 bedroom is up to $1,600 in a nice area, and not even we ain't like we down there on Ross Mile Road. We ain't over there in Northport talking about down there. We talking on the 35405, 35404, 1675. All this kind of stuff. Now I don't know what it is over in Northport, but that's what it is over here.
I see.
And that's more than my work.
Exactly.
1650. Over
exactly.
Northport, I see.
Okay, that's over in Northport, but we're talking right here within the city limits of Tuscaloosa. That's what it is, and it's ridiculous. $1,200 to stay with somebody.
Right downtown.
$1,200 to live with somebody you don't even know.
close to Capitol Park, those are 1,700.
We haven't seen that. The research out that we've been doing, we've been seeing up to 16, 7, I say $1,700. Now 20 something. It definitely need. I saw 2,000, but that 24 and all that, they definitely need to be over there somewhere down Rice Line Road, that some way down Rice Line Road, because it's too much. It's ridiculous. And then sometimes now people, 800 was too much. In Tuscaloosa, 800 was too much for 2 and 3 bedroom. 900, I would give them that. But then now you up to almost $2,000, and anything's gonna only all it's gonna do is go up. From right now 12 to 16, 12, you on the gravy side. You on the side saying, "Who? Thank you," because and then now it's up nationwide. And so they around here. So how are people going to? People are trying to survive. So it's like Tim said. Why should we have to wait when other districts don't have to wait? They get it and we don't know about it. And then when they ask for it right there blatantly in our face, they expect to get it. And if somebody say something, it's like we see, they'll meet you with hostility. If we was to say, well, why? How come District 2 can't, or District 1, or District 7? They meet you with hostility. That's why that redistricting was so important because of things like this with this money.
Two kind of person would be the one that meet you with the hostility.
Should be District 2 is a Joe Mansion. That's what District 2 is for what's going on in these United States. District 2 is a Joe Mansion. The one Democrat that's supposed to be there on their side that's putting a monkey wrench in everything. And the city of Tuscaloosa, our Joe Mansion is District 2. So we also it's like we two down. It's like we too short. We too short of what we need.
I saw her on the news Sunday discussing the shooting, and not even ABC 3340 wanted to hear what she had to say because they cut her right on off.
She went out there.
That was in
I
District
think she
1,
got to say it's the same thing, and then that was it. And I was like, wow, I don't want to hear what you got to say either. So that's
because they know it's propaganda. They know it's propaganda. So it's like people are getting tired, and I'm wondering at what point are we going to have a united voice? The one thing that I can say that it was good and bad. I love the way the white communities came out and advocated when we were trying to get that fair map passed. Mm-hmm. I was very disappointed that there wasn't more blacks. 100 people, 200 people showing up in city council, they knowing that these are voting constituents. Trust me, it would make a difference.
I agree with you. You're absolutely right. We need a more united front, and we've been saying this, and the few that does get tired, and the ball is dropped. Right now, Cassius, Councilman Lanier, and Councilman Matthew need to see a show of us at City Council to make a more of a stand. Because I'm tell you, we had 3 women.
They actually asked for that, Daryl. They actually asked for it.
And we had at one point 3 African American women. And you know how they treated yourself when you talk to the city council. So just imagine 3 African American women, young, middle aged, or elderly, the intimidation of them at that point. So now we have 2 young, new councilmen. Yeah, they want to take a stand because they understand what's going on in this city and what's the problem that we're facing. But if they see no backup, in other words, when a police officer see backup coming, he get a little bit brave on what he want to say and what he want to do then. But if you ain't got no backup, it's like, man, these folks don't give a doggone. And you can get, it is what it is. We got another call on the phone.
I heard somebody say at the end of the day, everybody trying to go home. So I get that.
but we can't keep fighting against ourselves. We can't. And this is the one thing that people count on, and I say the powers that be, they count on us being unorganized. Mm-hmm. They count on us being ununited, mm-hmm, or divided. Mm-hmm. They count on us being too busy to care. Mm-hmm. I get it. I get it. I work 3 jobs. I get it. But I make time. I make the time. I make the time because that's what's important to me. Now, I'm not saying everybody's able to do that, but even if people just started coming down there when they were able, even though it wasn't a hot topic on the table, if you just showed up at the city council meeting, if you showed up at the county commission meeting, and just sat there to learn the processes, mm-hmm, you know, let them know that, oh, you're being held accountable, not being watched, but there's somebody that's ready to hold you accountable. Because everybody has to be held accountable in their jobs. So why shouldn't they? Everybody, every job, everybody has, you have to be held accountable at McDonald's. You know, now the standard to what they hold you depends on how you act. And it's like we said, if they're not being held to a high standard, then they don't act high. That's from McDonald's all the way to the city council. And it is a job, and I'm glad Cassia said it. They get paid. They get paid. They're not volunteering, they get paid. So when you have somebody to say to the council, I ain't got time to read all those emails. I mean, like, what do you mean you don't have time to read all those emails? Would you say that on your job?
No, you definitely wouldn't. The thing about it, and I got to, because I had a conversation with Cassie on last week, and to be honest with you, he and Matthew pretty much saying the exact same thing as far as they needing more and more people to come up there to city council when they trying to bring things to the attention of the city council. So it behooves us to go ahead and try to find a way to get organized, get more people out there to the city council, especially when we're talking about some of the topics that affect District 1, District 7. I will say District 2, but you know what I'm saying, I don't think that she's literally going to ask for anything for District 2. Just whatever they decide to give you is what she's going to take for District 2. And that might be why some of the residents need to come. Some of their residents need to come. Because look, imagine how that looks. Your council, your representation is almost on the opposite page, and you trying to ask for the help that she should be asking for you. Like Matthew said, why should everybody have to come? He's sent there to represent them. But because we see how things are going, let people come. So get District 2 to come too. Because I bet you half of the people don't think the way that their representation thinks. And then trying to get up in there and go through that maze and get to the chamber. Well, when it comes to certain stuff, maybe we get enough people that need to be on the steps. So whoever can make it to the chamber, everybody else stay outside on the steps. It's the town city hall. That's another question that we gonna. Because I know I asked Matthew about that last week. I'm gonna ask Kansas about it and see if they can do something about opening up those doors so that everybody can get there without having to go through the maze to get to the chamber. Don't make no sense. Why you got don't make no sense. They have a metal detector right there, and then there's a guard there. And the times that we've had to walk through there, there's usually a guard there. And at least at the beginning of the meeting. And there's an elevator there. Mm-hmm. Exactly. We got another caller. Go ahead. Please. Go ahead. I'm finna let you talk. Go ahead. At what point are black people gonna realize that these people are not thinking about you? They're not thinking about you. Y'all been screaming this forever. Listen, I've told you a million times. The only thing that counts is your money. That's the only thing that these people have respect for is your money. You've been screaming too long the same thing over and over and over and over. That's all you do is talk about it. The thing about it is put your money where your mouth is. Then you'll get some respect. Because I don't care how many times you go up to that council meeting, how many times you pack it, you got a full
you got a 5-2 vote. You got a 5-2 vote every single time. Then was that Tim Robertson that was called in earlier?
It was.
It was.
Me and Tim go way back. Shout out to you, Tim. You still on it. Deborah Mine, you still on it. We go way back. The thing about it is, Tim been preaching it. I've been preaching it. The only thing counts is money. Now, when you do something with it, and I'm gonna say it again, I didn't shop in Tuscaloosa again. I went to Northport and did it. Do it at your leisure. Make a dent in their pocketbook and you will notice it. But sitting up here talking about the same old mess, begging these people, you guys are begging. Literally begging. Why are you begging these people? When you have rights, you have rights. Everything, you have a legal way of going at it, and then you have your money.
You're right. But I'm not saying you ain't right. You're right. When you take that money out of the pocket, it make a person want to start listening. Matter of fact, it goes back to what you were saying about the 1965 Voters' Right Act, and I did read it, and you're absolutely right about everything you said about the 1965 Voters' Right Act. But what you're saying is, money does, when you take the money out their pocket, it does hurt. That's when you predicting 23 million to do a project, and now you need 55 million, but ain't but 10 million coming in. That's when they start wanting to hear why the people are going elsewhere, why people are shopping online, why people are shopping in Northport, why people are shopping in Moundville, why people going to Jefferson County. You're absolutely right, because then we're making our own city suffer because they're not listening to our voices of the people that put them in office.
And they keep hoodwinking us. They keep this is nothing but a hoodwink thing. These people don't give a damn about you. Don't give a damn about you. And if you can't see it, and it just gets on my nerves when black people keep saying the same thing. And they know you're gonna sing that same old tune every time. You're gonna sing that same old tune. And can I change it up just a little and get to the shoe?
Go ahead.
All right, now I put my money where my mouth is, and I walk. I walk it like I talk it.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me? I have joined this group to go do something, see if we can do something about all of the crime that's going on here in Tuscaloosa. My thing about it is now, it's the same people doing the same thing over and over and over. They get out of jail, they go right back to the same old crap. I want these areas. It's not the entire West End that's shooting. That's the Wild Wild West. It's not the entire East Side or South Side that's doing the thing. These are certain areas. If we pinpoint these certain areas that have all of the crime, I think and that's what this group, I hope, will do. We're going to pinpoint certain areas and we're going to just wear them out. And I think Cassius can come up with a report. District 1 can come up with a report on crime, and District 2. And I think you, Darryl, also being an officer, once was an officer, you know where the crime is. It's not all over the west side of town, the west end of town. Am I right or wrong?
You're correct. Yes, ma'am.
We can pin, and please quit saying yes, ma'am. You're so right. And the thing about it is that we can pinpoint these areas and zone in on this and see what help these people need. What disturbed me most about that shooting, well, all of it was crazy. All of it hurt me to the core. But when I saw the grandmother on TV crying, I was breaking down with her. But guess what? And this is not the lady she's probably a nice lady. I'm not saying that she's not. But when she said my grandbaby was shot, my son was shot, then her niece or nephew, they were killed. Grandbaby killed, her son was killed, then her niece or her nephew was killed. And I'm saying, okay, this is a cycle here. This is the cycle. When you have one family and all the kin folks doing this, getting killed, this something is wrong right there. So I'm suggesting that we zone in on these areas and try to help. But in the meantime, quit begging the city to do anything for you.
So this Lisa. Hey, I don't see us when we go to address issues. I don't see it as begging. I'm not begging anybody. Like I said before, that's my money. That's my money. When I shop, that's my money. I don't
Right.
go over to North Port. I mean, gas $4 and some a gallon. So I'm not going over to Northport just to do shopping. I get the logic behind it, but right now it's unfeasible. So, but what I do, why I go to city council and address things, is because no one will fix their mouth to say it was not brought before us.
But there's a help.
I take talents and I'll use it when it comes around for re-election. Because their tune is much different when it's an election year. So I'll remind them of what they said and what they did, and I'll remind other voters what they said and what they did when it comes time to vote. And I think it does make a difference. I think that it makes people aware. I've been contacted by so many people, black and white, that have asked for information. I don't know anything about redistricting. Redistricting, I don't understand it. Can you send me information? Black and white. So I think what we did, I'm trying to look at the positive. If nothing else, if nothing else come about it, 10 years from now, you're gonna have many more people that understand what redistricting is. And I feel like every time you educate one person, you educate many. Mm-hmm. Because when they learn something and they're confident in what they know, they're going to tell someone else. So I don't that's the way education works in the way I see it. So I feel like what we did was positive. I don't feel like it was a waste of time. And I definitely went up there big.
Well, when you keep asking people to do things over and over and over and over, and they don't pay you any attention, you're bad. And I respect you, Lisa, but you're bad. I'm not going to go up there not one more time. I did my job. I spoke my mind, and I stood on what I said. And I'm doing what I said I was going to do. But the thing about it, I'm not going up there begging these folks for nothing. You let you see what's going on right now. Let me give you a bit of history. That Montgomery bus boycott was done in 24 hours and lasted for 1 year until they broke the back of the buses. That's true. They put out flyers to every black person in Montgomery in 24 hours. And they did. You got to put some work in order to make a change. Change don't come easy. And I'm seeing a lot of people who not, especially here in Tuscaloosa, they want to talk, but they don't want to put their work behind. You got to put some work behind your talk, because you're not going to achieve anything. And that's what I'm seeing now. Begging.
Well, they say I'm laughing. I mean, both of you are correct. Don't get me wrong. Both of you are correct. It seems highly impossible, but it is possible, Miss Mountain. It is.
No, it is.
It is.
You do?
It is. And Lala, you correct too, because we are spending our sales tax, and we shouldn't have to be to ask for what we deserve. And that's right. And that money to be inputted in different ways. It's like I have this, and Veronica said, I guess you can say, this dictatorship of this is how it's gonna be done, my way or no way. And that's the
Right, and I'm with Lisa because I'm not going to deal with Northport either after releasing what their council president said. They ain't no better than Tuscaloosa.
so
What we doing? What we doing? Listen, everybody.
I'm not thinking about Northport. I'm not thinking about Northport. They know better than Tuscaloosa. All that stuff that got released on Northport, they know better than Tuscaloosa. And for people that's talking about the shoot, yes, it's like Tim said, it's getting everywhere because Northgate is not the city limits of Tuscaloosa.
Right. Listen, what I'm saying is, baby, if you want to Walt Maddox and your city council of Tuscaloosa to jump for you, you got to stop giving them your money, even though you may be giving it to. Take it from them. Just take it from them. That's all we're doing is taking it from them. We're not saying, hey, Northport is any better, but whatever. We live in Tuscaloosa. Our tax dollars count too. Why in the world we have to beg somebody to do like somebody said, you spending $55,000, $55 million on cars, and you got the whole West End being neglected. The reason these kids out there running stupid is because we don't have anything to occupy their mind. That's why I said put some basketball, outdoor basketball courts out there, tennis court. Give these kids something to do. Else they're going to keep on doing the same thing. Killing and getting in trouble, getting with the wrong person. Half of these kids is going to, most of these kids going to jail. They're just going to jail for doing stupid things. Not that they're just stupid, they're just following their peer group. So my thing about it, quit begging Tuscaloosa. Just hold your money, go somewhere else. Just sacrifice. You got black people, you got to make a sacrifice in order to fight.
So you mentioned the boycott, the bus boycott being done in 24 hours.
Yes.
Tuscaloosa has a different mentality. We have a different mentality. And I will say this, that we as blacks have done an excellent job of making sure that our kids don't have to worry about things and giving them that same attitude that we once complained that entitled people have. These kids are not concerned with, these young people are not concerned with certain issues because they don't see it directly impacting them. But I emailed every council person today. I emailed every county commissioner. The NAACP is sponsoring a job fair. I have not received one single response. Not one. I asked them to share with their constituents. I asked them to share with employers. Not one person out of the entire group. And I emailed some people that ran for office as well. So when you say leader, where the leaders at? Because they have an issue with the fact that I come up there and I address them about issues of importance to me. So then they get it, they have an issue with it. So we're not going to support anything that you do.
Listen,
that's the problem.
Here's the deal. When black people learn that your leadership is within you, each and every one, we don't need a leader. Everybody just needs to take it up on their own and do what they need to do. Forget these people. When you count on people to lead you, then why are you whining when you don't have leaders? You're not leading, not you, Lisa, but you're not leading yourself, but you want somebody else to do it. I would never in my life, if somebody come to me, and many have throughout my walk on this earth, wanted me to step for them, lead them, I'm not leading nobody who's not in front of me. If you can't stand, I can't stand for you. And that's the same thing these people feel about you. These murders has been going on, these drive-bys, and black folks on the west side in different parts of town in low rent areas have been screaming and doing the same thing forever and a day, and we keep doing the same, saying the same thing, but we're not making a move. What you need to do, and I would suggest this, Lisa, just put it out there. Just put it out there and let these people in the community, that the churches know that, hey, we got a job fair here, put it on your website and just whatever. Quit begging the city council. because they already know.
I understand your philosophy, Deborah.
Yeah.
But I feel my whole premise is they work for me. I'm not begging them. It's like they're my employees.
They're starting employees.
They
employees.
They use my tax dollars.
You got
So when I go to them and I ask them to do something, I don't see it as me begging. I see it as I'm asking you to do this as a representative. You're a paid representative. So if you truly are concerned about the people, the constituents, the residents of Tuscaloosa, I'm not asking you to do me a favor.
Right.
I'm asking you to support this opportunity for the people in Tuscaloosa. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
But like I said, when it comes back around for municipal elections, and trust and believe, I might not have a big following on Facebook. I may not have a lot of likes and stuff, but people reach out to me and they ask my opinion because they know I'm all about elections. And I tell them. And I tell them, and I give them information to back up what I say. This is what I asked them to do. This is what they were asked to do. This is where they stood. I keep a tab.
Right. But let me say this, Lisa. I own business almost 20 years. I wouldn't hire. If I hired, I wouldn't even hire a lazy person or a person that didn't meet the qualification. Now we can get rid of, we can recall Walt Maddox by 30% of the vote. If we don't like what Walt Maddox is doing, we can recall Walt Maddox. We can get rid of the council people. We can call for them to resign. If enough people sign up, we can get rid of a bad employee. I don't even mess with weak people. I would never hire a bad employee, and if they were, I'd get rid of them right on the spot. And we can do the same thing with these council people and the mayor. So my suggestion with that, Lisa, is just call these different organizations. Don't waste your time. If you need help doing it, pass me a list. I'll be glad to help you. Call these people and say, hey, we got job offers here, job offers here. Do you need it? Because there are a lot of organizations in Tuscaloosa that you don't even know about, Lisa. But I'll be glad to help you do it. But for is that if the people ain't paying you no attention, like the Bible says, wipe the feet off, wipe the dirt off your feet, off your shoes, and keep moving.
Well, I'm gonna show. I got it on the morning. Tuscaloosa Branch NAACP Community Job Fair, Wednesday, March the 30th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the McDonald Hughes Center. So, y'all know anybody looking for a job? Might be looking for an extra job. Please
and
go.
we are working. We have like people from all sectors, law enforcement, emergency response, automotive production, automotive manufacturing production, hospitality. So we trying to make sure medical. Yeah, we cover every industry. There are people that are going to be hiring on the spot. I know right now how gas is hitting me. And look, I'm looking for me another job. I need me another job to add to what I got. Because I put $50 in my tank today and it didn't even fill my car. I'm going to burst into tears. So I know people are feeling, I know what people are feeling at the gas tank when you having to put your grocery money in your gas tank.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of changes, believe me. It's gonna be a lot of changes.
We know what the meal can't pay gas, can't do that. You sit at home, you can put yourself on right on back. I ain't going. Eat some ramen noodles. No, but you know, like I want to know what we need to do to have one community. That's what I need. Like I think that black people are resilient. I think that we are resourceful, And I think that we are so talented. We just got to get on one accord. And once we get that mindset, that just like up in Birmingham, just like they did during the Montgomery bus boycott. Once we get that mindset that united we can change things, yeah, we can change things. We can change it overnight. Overnight.
Yeah, and let me add. Okay, I'm sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to say, Tim, because Tim brought up a point that I've been making for the longest. Is these older generation of people who have been with these organizations who is crippling the African American community here in Tuscaloosa. Now, I voted against Walt Manout, brought up that the West Side was being neglected. I talked to some of these members of these groups. They were set on, they in love with Walt Manout, Mark Maddox did this, blah, blah, blah. and they all get together, pass out these ballots to these people, and leave them to the slaughter. They need to move on and pass that baton. And I'm with Tim 100% on it. They need to move.
I agree. But I think that we need, as a community, we need to be looking right now. We need to be looking right now. What do we want our representation to look like? Not just in City Hall, but sitting on the county commission, sitting as state representatives, Congress people. Like, we don't even, when I go into a courtroom and people are upset with the way the judges are handing out verdicts and all the disparities. I think voting, like every judge that's sitting on a bench in Alabama was either elected or appointed by somebody that was elected.
Right.
So just like the judge that gave that astronaut very little time for killing those two young girls, he needs to go.
And that's another thing that we need to do is we have the Bar Association, the Alabama Bar, the New York Bar. Every state has a state bar. When these judges are just doing this, we don't ever think that we could take these people to the Bar Association and get them disbarred for that action. That's why I'm saying, black people, you have rights. Just like I was talking about that 1965 Voting Rights Act. A lot of people didn't know that guided redistricting, but it does. We need to get in tune with the laws. As just like I said, with the Bar Association, just like if you working on a job, there is employment law. There are federal guidelines to being an employee and then getting discriminated against or anything. You have laws. If we start fighting with the law, I think we'll do much better. And I'm pretty sure, Lisa, you know all about that, but you are a lawyer.
Yeah. The president of the Alabama bar, I believe, is Hayes Webb, our district attorney. So ain't no sense in running up here against him. It is going absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. I filed several complaints against attorneys that basically broke the law themselves. It gets absolutely nowhere. But that's what I'm saying. If we have like one coalition, one voice, if all these different organizations came together and we attacked the issue, all of us at the same time, that's the way we bring about change. The fact that Tuscaloosa is majority minority now, well, they're gonna fight harder. Trust me, the powers that be know more than we do what can be accomplished if we start to unite. Of course they do. Of course they do.
I think we got another call on.
Make sure the single most important reason to vote is because of the election of judges. That's one of the single most important reasons. Because like you said, if they're not being voted in,
then the people who are putting them in place are being voted in. That's the single most important reason to vote. And people continue to lose faith in voting, but that's the single most important reason to vote. If you only look at the judges, that's the single most important reason. Who makes these decisions? Who when we go fight, who decides what's yay or nay? These judges.
And you go back and look at some of the disparity with some of the judges and the way they hand out these sentences, you would know that it's clear that they have certain biases. I'm not gonna say it's racism. Hell, they might not like the color blue, and the defendants wearing color blue, so I'll leave it right there. But they have biases, and it's easy to know in their sentencing. Like you'll have two people, one wearing red, one wearing blue, commit the same crime. They have the same record. One might be a little bit more fluent. So the red get probation, while the one wearing blue get prison time. That don't make no sense to me. How do you come up with? How do you have that disparity in sentences when you looking at two of the same people?
Well, we gotta take in mind also, when these people run up for these seats, be the judges, a lot of them don't have anybody running against them as well. That's kind of be considered. And out of the black community, how many of our children are being raised in that aspect to become judges? How many kids you ask what they want to be, and they say a judge or a lawyer or run for city council or some kind of political office in Tuscaloosa? You don't hear that.
Well, you know, and my background is in criminal justice, so I tell everybody, if you want to look at the gateway to the criminal justice system, you look at your average street police officer. That person right there has so much authority. It is almost scary because there's not another profession anywhere across the United States where a person has that much authority with just a high school diploma. There's not another single one.
You're absolutely
And
right.
so when you talk to somebody about when they say, well, you can argue it in court. Some people, when you arrest them, don't even know how they're gonna make bail, and you talking about arguing in court. Of course they're gonna go in and do a plea deal because they can't even afford an attorney, or the one that's appointed is buzzing with the prosecutor. So they done already discussed how they gonna plead your case until have satisfaction on both sides over dinner last night. Exactly. That's how that play out. I done seen it and I done heard it. I've been on both sides of it. I know that's how it works out.
I stared down a 15-year sentence, and they were trying to get me to play. And I said, no, we going straight in. We going to court. I'm going to court. Jury. I didn't have no money. I didn't even have a lawyer. But I still went through with it. And it's like, you can go to prison. I swear. If that's the end of it, then that's what happened. But from what I see, we coming through with it.
I think we got another call on the phone.
That may not be the case for everybody. But I'm sure a lot of folks, and I know a lot of folks.
Mike, is Carmelo there?
We're given a plea deal and we're saying the very thing.
Is Carmelo there? And I think we had one more call on.
Mello. When I looked that down, yes, he is. I didn't know nothing about the law.
Okay. We got one more call.
I read one law book.
We got one more call on the phone.
But I stared it down.
Go ahead, Carmelo.
Yeah,
I didn't do no time.
I'm gonna be brief. I ain't gonna be too long. A lot of people know me in the younger generation. Mike, you know me more personally. I'm labeled as the lost generation because a lot of these guys see like the green kids. These are dudes I went to elementary school with, middle school with, hung out with, was in alternative school with, was in the protection center with, all the way from here to back with them. And just to say this, from a young person's perspective, from hearing the whole show and just hearing everybody's point of views, I could not agree more with all the ideas and all the things that have been thrown out because it's not a lot of things for the young people here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama to occupy their mind and occupy their times. And once again, it does start at home. And one thing I want to throw out there, I heard a lot about community leaders doing this and the city doing it and the city doing this. But at the same token, you can't depend on community leaders in the city to raise your kids at the end of the day. And at the same token, no matter how much you teach your children or how much you tell us, at the end of the day, sometimes you're going to do what you want to do. I grew up in a home with both of my parents, and they stayed on me. They didn't play. But I still made those decisions to go out there and do what I did. No, I knew right from wrong. But one thing about it is, your peers and who you're around, it has a huge influence on you. It has a bigger influence on you than most of the time anybody in your life. So when I started hanging around positive people, I wanted to do positive. I saw these preachers in the pulpit preaching. My grandma made me go to church. I didn't have a choice but to go to church. But at the same token, I knew what the pastor was doing behind closed doors. I was young. I was getting in clubs that I ain't had no business getting into from older people. I was seeing the pastor in there. I knew what the pastor was doing. And I saw the pastor in the pulpit on Sunday morning preach about this, preach like this. And I'm like, nigga, really? I just saw you here. I see you on here doing this. I'm on this social media and I found your page and you on there doing this and that. So keep in mind, when you're in the public eye and you are a community leader, it's a certain way that you got to walk and a certain way you have to talk and you have to be about it. Don't be hypocritical in nothing because young people, we pay attention to a lot of stuff. We peep a lot of stuff. So that behind closed doors is dead. It's over with. If you're going to help out of the kindness of your heart. I can't stand when older people in generation that come around, they want to help, they do this and do that, but it's always about publicity stunts. It's never because you want to come out the kindness of your heart. And I keep it real. And I said this before, and I stated this to him personally. Mr. The Councilman District, Matthew Wilson, Reverend Matthew Wilson. I love and respect him a lot. But one thing that we've noticed about him in the young generation, when he comes to the schools, the alternative school, or anywhere, it's always a camera. It's never me showing up. So the first thing we think is every time Reverend Wilson come around, he just comes to put a few pictures on Facebook, show his face, say he been here, and like he did this and that. But honestly, truthfully, he said a word to us. He came here, asked could he take a picture, and jumped in deuces. Now that's not the case every time. But we peep when stuff like that happen. We see when they make these posts on social media about you did this, did. We know the truth. And we view you different. So it's hard for us to accept you when you come around when you do things like that. When you're not really doing what you claim that you're doing. We peep that. And then I heard also something about waiting on city fund and stuff like this. And one thing I've had a conversation with, and these are guys in the industries that I'm connected with, because I was out there with, I did the same old stuff. I had my first gun at age 20 years old. So trust me, I know
Where'd you
the way
get it
everything
from?
went.
If you don't mind me asking.
Can you repeat that?
I said, where did you get it from? I'm older now.
Yeah, I mean, older people. Older people. I mean, you have older people that cater to what we're doing now. Don't think this no, it's older people that are catering to what we're doing.
That's
They're
right.
giving us the guns.
That's
So
right. Like they go and buy a pack of this pack, six pack for somebody to bring it outside, and then wonder why they get busted.
And it ain't even that, because now, I know when I was 15, I was able to go in the store on the west side, the A-Ralph, and get a black and mild, or some beer, or wine, whatever the case may be.
And nobody had to do it for you.
And nobody had to do
You
it for
been
you.
in those A-Ram stores that'll be on the north of the river?
I mean, I have.
It's a couple.
Someone from there, but it's real. It's real, but at the end of the day, Boulevard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, crime is just on the west side. It's gonna be everywhere because every young dude I know that's really out there, they carry a pistol everywhere they go. And not even just a pistol. If they drive, if they believe it's something that trumps.
And he right, because the west side get a bad rap, but it's stuff going on in North Northport. Yeah, it's some stuff going on in Northport. Believe it. It's in Northport too. It's
Yeah.
different.
The thing is, the folks in Northport usually come to Tuscaloosa. That's why Northport has still a record of not having many homicides in I think 10 years. I think they only had the one. There were the two that happened earlier this year, in like 10 years. So most of those people come to Tuscaloosa, and then they split hairs too, because they really truly tried to say that the young girl who got shot in Northport, and was found in I think it was Fairfax. That's considered Tuscaloosa. So yeah, they won't call that Norfolk. So no, they not like this. Anything that comes before Winn-Dixie over here in Norfolk, they gonna call Tuscaloosa. That's what Norfolk starts at Winn-Dixie. If you're coming from McFarland Boulevard across the bridge. Like I said, most everybody call it. Most everybody else call it Norfolk because you can cross the river. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying, they gonna be precise with the lines right there. Yeah, yeah. When it come down to something later. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, and I gotta go. I gotta tip out. But I'm gonna say this too. I heard the things about in the comments about the mayor, this, that, and all that type of stuff. And one thing that I've always been told, and one thing that my grandparents always told to taught me, your oppressor will never be your deliverer. And that's just not stating to people of different races, but our races as well. It's people within our race that will treat you worse than white people. I've been treated worse than people within our race as a young man.
Say it again. Say it again. Your oppressor what?
Your deliverer.
Okay.
Never be your deliverer.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if we want change, we got to choose to go out there and get it now. Don't get me wrong, but if you ain't on the white man, you might well go and leave that alone because they love what we're doing. And I had this conversation too, and I'm done when I say this. I had a conversation with another partner of mine, and this Negro was so dope that I knew him. And we were talking about how you get more time for marijuana than you get for death, and you get more time for all these different drugs and stuff like that. And he said something to me I never even thought. He said, "Man, let me ask you something." He said, "Now, when all these drugs came over here way back in the day, who do you think was making these drugs and coming up with all these chemical compounds to make these drugs? Who having these shipping these drugs here? Now, white people." He said, "Now, who put them on the street?" I said, "Black people." He said, "Who go to jail?"
The government put them on the street.
That too, but most of the government was white people. Let's be real about it now. So we the crash dummies. So he said the thing. He said they knew. They tailored the law. They making the chemical drugs and they putting them out there. So they know if we put it out, they can get us caught up in it easy and throw us away. And when it come down to murder, he said, "Oh, they love when we kill each other." He said, "Matter of fact, they put us back out for a reason to go kill somebody else." That's the reason why. That's the reason why we get less time for murder, because we doing what they want us to do. We killing them, but see when it comes down to drugs, see what they weren't ready for. They weren't ready for some of these black boys start selling to the white people. They weren't ready for that. See, that kind of tricked up the game right there. But with this young generation, it's not even more so of them on drugs. It's just lost. It's just no sense of direction. They're not around that level of positivity. So if you're gonna help, if you're gonna do something, do it out of love and the kindness of your heart. You know, don't do it because you want to be seen in the public eye, known as because, hey, I changed this. I'm the one that. No, you can't do that because we keep it. And it's a lot of everybody in my generation now lost. I'm one. I was lost. I did a lot of things I'm not proud of. I said a lot of things I'm not proud of. I did stuff I should have got caught up in. I'm glad I did. It's some mistakes I could have made. I almost did make, but things worked out for my good. And this guys, this like that I know. And it's not just because they got hate and envy in their heart. Sometimes they just don't know another way to handle situations. They don't know other routes to take because, and not all of them grew up in a single parent home without a father. Most of them do have dads in their lives, positive men in their lives, that were definitely. But at the same token, another problem in this generation is you have parents that are physically there, but not mentally there. You got parents that, yeah, they buy you a new jacket. They make sure you stay fresh, but they're not there for you mentally. It's never to where, hey, let me talk to you or anything like that. Let me actually see what's really real. You know what I'm saying? It's too much of you try to act like you perfect and you just holding it down and all this type of stuff like you ain't never been young and did some stuff you ain't never been doing. You know what I'm saying? So it just got to be a level of realism and love, and I believe that's what's gonna bring upon that change, the level of realism and love, and that's all I think.
Well, you're right. It's like you said, the mental. You get in trouble, first thing, boy, I bought you all them days, you out here acting a fool. Who gives a dog about how many days you bought? That's why I told my kids to talk them not to worry about the name brand. Some of them kids truly like kids gonna talk about parents, like he said, it's mental. The first time you get in trouble, or every time you get in trouble, I buy you too much this, I buy you too much that. Maybe that's part of the problem.
I think
they don't want for nothing.
Oh, it is. It is. It is. And they don't know the value of a dollar. You always buying for them. And you buying their affection.
So you expect them to be good because you buying.
And you more of a friend to them than a parent. And that's where you're going also. As well as your grandma is 36 years old. That's a problem too. That's a problem too. DJ Mello, he and I started working together when he was 16 years of age. When I say positive, he's completely changed from what he used to be when he was younger. His mindset is on future orient. He has a goal already, which I can't say that is for a lot of teenage young men. I think Mel, I think me and you've been working together for 2 years now, right? 2 or 3, something like that. About 3 years now. He produces majority of my shows on Sound Booth ENT. That's the thing that he's interested in. He also hooks up the sound system to a lot of churches around here. They call him when they got a new sound system they putting in. He's the one that hooks up a lot of this stuff. He does a lot of audio visual stuff. For me, he does flyers. He has also done 2 of those commercials that we show here on TTown 411, working on one for me right now, as a matter of fact. So if you give these young people something that they're interested in doing, that they enjoy doing, then they'll want to do that instead of going out in the street and doing things that will get them in trouble. And also gives them a future.
I think that's what we need. I think we need young people. We need to be trying to empower some of these young people to address some of these issues because they know. Like, I don't know. I go to work and I come home.
Lala, we do a show, and we haven't done one this year. We're trying to set one up. But we do a show called Teen Summit, also produced by DJ Mello. And what you just heard from Mello, add probably 5 or 6 more teenagers with the same type of mentality. Yeah. Every last one of them are deep, have something to say. We actually had the mayor on 2 of those Teen Summits. And we had one girl who actually had the mayor choked up. Now, I don't know if he was acting or if it was real. But we had that situation. And the plan is to continue to do just that with our teams, because I feel like we got to be able to get these teams something to do other than just walk the street. Okay. We have Power League. We have the para sports, and that's great. High school athletics, great. But then there's things outside. Like Sean been saying it too. There's some people who might want to be a lawyer. Some people might want to be a doctor. Some people want to be an engineer. So we got to get them started also.
Well, y'all, it's
Well, I
almost
know, because
10:30.
they do. It's a lot of them. What's Quinn's last name? We have a young man that's very interested in politics, and it's not just him. It's many of them that work with the organizations, NAACP, ADC, Tuscaloosa County Democratic Party. There are a lot of people interested in fields of study that don't include just sports or run-of-the-mill things. They include being engineers, being lawyers, being doctors, being dentists.
Absolutely.
You're right. Hey, y'all, it's almost 10:30, and I'm out of energy right now myself. Thursday.
This talk right here went on there. I didn't even realize what time it was.
Yeah. I didn't mind. We started a little later than normal, but hey, it's still a great show. We can take it up on Thursday. You know how we can do part 2, 3, 4, 5. It don't matter because it's something that need to be talked about. Because there again, in order for change to happen, time has to be put forth with it. We have to put time in to make things happen.
That's right.
That's true.
I mean,
Cassius said he would be on Thursday also, so look forward to an exclusive interview with Cassius Vanille on Thursday.
Right.
And y'all know what? One good thing about conflict resolution, I think that right now is one of the most important things that needs to be addressed. Like people say, we talk. We need to get some people who are professionals with conflict resolution, because there have been times on this program we're all human. We clash. But when you always have to learn to agree to disagree and not become on get on the power trip. It's just like when Cassius and Tim started out. They made sure it didn't go left. Because at first, they really weren't on opposite pages, but they were kind of addressing different things for different reasons. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and conflict resolution seems to be something that does not exist right now with youth.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
So that's something that like professional people, or it don't even have to be professional people. It could be people who just like they sat there. I mean, it happens. It happens. But you got to be open to it happening instead of just saying throwing your hands up and then going reaching for something.
Absolutely.
I might reach out to I think Miss Van Horn we had on here one time, Jenny Van Horn and Deria Murray. I think those are social workers. We probably need to have them to come on here and talk. And there's one other Miss Bruner. All three of them were social workers. We can get them to come on, and they need. Here's what I say: until the judges outsource some of these people to them, maybe they can change some of those things too. I mean, because you don't have to just refer them to a friend's organization. These are.
Yeah, I see Miss Kathy Davis said they need to be taught that in elementary school. Right, it needs to be taught in a part of the elementary school curriculum, and then still outside forces. Because like I said, it's still the village mentality that's just lost. It needs most things that you can't teach everything in school, but you can always spur the seed, and sometimes the seed has to be spurred at home. Everything that our children touch, a seed can be spurred to something positive. That when you go home, it needs to continue. If it started at home and it goes to school, it needs to continue because it needs to be open dialogue.
You're right. Kathy, we want you to chime in with us on Thursday also. And yeah, we need your expertise. Also, come on, join in with us Thursday. We will have Councilman Lanier on with us on Thursday, and we will take up part 2 of this conversation.
Sound like a plan.
All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all, all the viewers tonight. We appreciate you. Something to talk about.
All right, good night, guys. Yeah, good night.
All right.
All right, good night.
For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, L.J. Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.